Hello, beautiful dancer, and welcome for another appointment of our A Cup of Tea, which is our weekly conversation about soulful and creative fusion belly dance. I'm Lamia Barbara, your host, and I am so excited. I'm literally like jumping on my spot because today I have an amazing guest, Julieta Mafia. Julieta is a tribal fusion dancer from Argentina, and as I will say in the video, she has such a unique taste and a unique stylization inside our community that when I scroll through hundreds of videos, I always recognize her work. And you will find Julieta's roots in Raqs Sharqi and how this informs her performances and the way she approached the performance space. We will dig a little bit into her creative process, which is so interesting. She has so many details that will be so inspiring for your dance journey. And we will finish with a beautiful vision of Julieta for the future of this art form and a suggestion for all of us of the community. I got goosebumps. I usually record this intro right after the interview, so I still have goosebumps after what she said, and I know it will be so inspiring and so transformative for you too. So grab your cup of tea or coffee and enjoy this conversation. And again, this is my cup of tea today.
Okay, I didn't have my cup of anything today, but yay, I have my
Yeah,
perfume.
invisible cheers with
Yes.
invisible cups. Thank you so much, Julieta, for being here and for taking the time to reschedule our conversation because we have to do it all over again another time. But I'm so happy and glad that you're here now and to have this conversation with you.
Thank you so much, Lamia, for inviting me and for having patience to me because I got a little bit lost, but I'm here. Thank you so much.
I'm always lost. It's important to feel lost so that we can gather together, right? Again. So I was just mentioning before we put the record on that really my goal with these conversations with my guests is to pick the pieces of the puzzle again, especially for me. It's like a kind of a, let's say, like kind of a dance therapy because through your words, through all of the words of my guests, it's like I'm creating this thread of inspiration from all around the world of passionate dancers of fusion belly dance style, which is such a difficult thing to define. But before we get into this, I would love to do the first question, which I always do, which is, what is your story? In dance specifically, how did you fall in love with belly dance, and how this did this all started for you?
Okay, so there's the starting point for me is blurry. Because I always danced, like I don't remember a moment in my life that I didn't dance. I think my parents in that sense, they made a great job because music was so present in my home. So I was always dancing. I was always playing to be a ballerina um, with my family. I'm Argentinian, but I was born in Spain. So I like my first years of life, I was in Spain. So when we got back to Argentina, and I have this family experience, I love to do put shows to my family.
Oh, wow.
And I was super little kid, like, but I don't know, it was something that I love to do. Um, and for me it was a game. It was game and exploration. Like there weren't rules at all. It wasn't like I was dancing ballet or I was dancing belly dancing. I didn't even know belly dancing. There was no rules at all. So of course my parents saw the potential, but they weren't into the dance universe, so they didn't really understand how it worked. They were like a complicated marriage, so they also were trying to survive, like trying their best. So they put me into dance lessons, but they weren't like super, they weren't consistent. Like I went like 2 weeks and then I stopped and another day. And but I remembered going to the dance classes and I didn't love them because I didn't understand them. Like they were so structured that it was very different to the experience I had in my home. That it was so fun and it was costumes and very loud and very weird. And this was very different. So I didn't blend in the dance academic universe. I was a child, of course, and my parents, they didn't have tools to tell me, okay, you have to practice, you have to be patient. They didn't have that tools to encourage me to continue to that with that journey. And then I am a very lonely person. I love being with myself. It's like the best, the best of the best. I always been like that. And I remember having a Shakira album. And I don't know what I was doing. I was alone in my room listening to Shakira, and suddenly I discovered myself dancing in a way I never danced before. And it was like an awakening moment for me. I was like 9 years, 10 years old, and I didn't feel that in that moment. I can't put that words in that moment, but now I realized that I was experiencing a very sensual moment, like with
Hmm.
my dance and being alone. And in that moment, it was like, Julieta, pay attention. And that's when I realized, like, pay attention what I was looking, like what I was hearing that was making me dance that way. And it was the heavy drums, the voice of Shakira, all the instrumentation that I haven't heard before. And I didn't know that that was like Arabic inspiration music. I didn't know anything about belly dance, but I knew that that was like something that was very powerful for me. I didn't have TV at that moment, and I don't remember, but that feeling was stuck with me, and it was very powerful. And then, like a few months later, I watched the music video, and it
Hmm.
was Shakira with her big hair and all leather and the coins,
I
and
remember that video so well.
it was, oh my God. And right now I'm living that, but I remember that she did something like, and it
Yes.
was wild. It was so wild. I was obsessed. And where I was living, I was living outside of the city, so I didn't have, I mean, for me, it wasn't a possibility to go learn belly dance lessons. It was like, okay, it's something that you might have in your body or whatever. So I think I didn't even ask for my parents to go to belly dance lessons until, okay, we were moving out a lot. My parents finally got divorced, and and I moved out, and my mother, she moved to the city. So in the city, of course, there's like everything is very accessible. There's a lot of options closer to you. So I was like walking in the streets, and suddenly I was walking very close to like a dance studio with big windows. And that then it's when I saw all these women dancing with long hair, the belly out, moving their hips, the hip scarf, and I was like, I need to go there. That's what that's what I need. And I was like, yes, a very, very, I was like 11 years old. Uh, and I wasn't even intimidated to be between so many like adults. I was like, this is my jam. This is the, and I think what I love is that there was a there was discipline for sure because there was a lot of drilling and a lot of hard working, but there was this very special atmosphere, like something very special was going on that I got completely hooked with belly dance.
Oh my God, that's such a beautiful story. Incredible. I mean, you were 10, 11 years old and you already knew everything about what you wanted to do with your body and your dance. And, it was so clear. Such a beautiful
I
feeling.
mean, my parents made me doubt so many times. It's like, do you really want to dance? No, don't dance. You're going to be poor. And no, 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 no. And so for sure, I had doubts in this journey for sure. But, but yes, and at that moment, I was a very performative child, like from the beginnings, and I think belly dance has this special thing, right? Like it's technique for sure, but it's a very there's like a storytelling
Yes, yes.
from the right, like the presence you put is very important. So I think I got hooked for that reason.
Yeah, but anyways, my father still wants me to be a dentist, even after 20 years in the career. So, my parents always stopped it, but that's okay. I mean,
I mean, we're still here. For me, like when your parents don't support you and you're still doing this, I think it has more value. I don't know why.
yeah, we needed to fight for it with our teeth.
Yes, totally, totally. With our teeth and with everything. It's like, "Ah!"
Bungs, exactly. And what about fusion belly dance? How this happened in your life?
Okay, okay. So again, then I got deep into the belly dance Raqs Sharqi arena. Um, And well, in Argentina, I don't know if you know, but there's a big belly dance tradition. You know then. Um, and I know that in like Suhaila, Salimpur Legacy, they did this academical belly dance thing. Well, in Argentina, they did the same, differently, but they did the same. So it was like something you did, like you went to the belly dance school and you did get your teacher and dancer certification. So in some point, I got into one school and like they had all these DVDs and CDs of belly dance superstars. So, of course, I didn't have money to buy it, but I remember it was the beginnings of YouTube. Um, no, I think I went to the Belly Dance Superstars page, and I think I saw like a video, the famous video of Rachel Bryce, and Don't get me wrong, I liked it, but and I think what I loved about that, it was like it was so it was closer to my aesthetic, dark. So I love that, but it was very slow for my brain.
Mm,
My brain wasn't ready for so much slowness and stillness. So at first, I didn't love Rachel Bryce. Uh,
wow.
it took me a while. It took me a while. And I remember this was like 2005. 2000 and yes, and I don't know what happened there, brain fart. But I remember that I discovered Kusturica films, movies, 2007, 2008, and then I discovered the Balkan music,
Hmm.
like Goran Bregovic. And then I discovered that Rachel Bryce with the Indigo, they did Balkan music. And then I got hooked again.
There is no escape for you, Julieta. You need to do this.
No, 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 no. And well, and then of course it made more sense to me, the Balkan music with the belly dance. Um, but then the slow video of Rachel Bryce in Paris was like so important for me. But it took me time. It took me time. And I remember discovering Zoe Jakes with all this boom, doom, doom. I was, oh my God, this woman. And Marty Love with her big hips and all the flesh and her costumes was like mind blowing. And Sharon Kihara with all the tattoos and the dreads.
Such beautiful years we went through.
I still relive it. It's like when I feel sad, I just go back to those years and
Me too. I go back to all the YouTube videos, like ice cream
mhm.
and no.
Happy place, happy place. Absolutely, it makes me like goosebumps. Is
Always.
really 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 special because what I saw is I don't know. It was so different and I didn't understand what they were doing. I didn't understand if it was like a folkloric dance or what. I had so many questions. So that in that moment, I was looking for fusion classes in Buenos Aires, and of course, it wasn't. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you?
Yes, I see you. I see you and hear you
Ah,
well.
okay, 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 good. And it wasn't easy to find dance travel fusion classes here in Buenos Aires, but then with patience, I discovered a teacher, and fortunately, that year in 2010, uh, uh, we had our first festival, travel festival in Argentina.
Hmm.
So it everything went together. Like I started taking classes, and then Mardi Love was coming to Buenos Aires. Mirabes was coming to Buenos Aires. Cami, Elizabeth Strong, Sharon. So it was like,
Yeah, the golden years, all of the
yes.
teachers traveling. I remember those times. Beautiful. And I think we were very lucky to get in touch with these dancers and their specific aesthetic and their taste. Because there is when I see Mardi, technique, like she got the technique, but she also has this taste, which is beyond technique, just the way she moves. Oh my God,
Mm,
it's so specific. And each one of them is so specific, right?
completely. Yeah. Yes. This
So here
very
comes
special
the
people. Yes.
And here comes the juicy question. Because now that okay, we talked about fusion belly dance, but the main question is always the same. What is fusion belly dance? And if you would have to not define, but maybe identify key features that for you are like pillars, like fusion belly dance is this. Or maybe you can tell me, Lamia, there are no pillars, you can just tell me your take on this.
Okay, okay. So for me, the main thing is that is a rebellious art form.
Hmm.
Eh, it's an underground art form. It's alternative, it's counterculture. And and that makes everything very unique, because there's no standard. I mean, I know that this is not like this in Raqs Sharqi or belly dance, but when I started dancing that art form, there was a standard, it like your body, it was supposed to look curvy, but not so curvy. Your hair was supposed to be long. You were supposed to be in your 20s, 30s, but not older than that. No tattoos,
Hmm.
no piercings, no no different color in your hair. You were supposed to be brunette. No, not. I remember that like the blonde belly dancers, they were as requests as the brunettes. Uh, s- so so what I felt like it was like super interesting is that in that sense it's very diverse, the tribal fusion, right? It's the technique is diverse because the music is diverse, and the bodies are diverse, so the technique also changes because the bodies are different, the possibilities are different. And again, I remember all the music Rachel Bryce danced, and it was so curated, so specific, like, and for me it was like she was digging and digging and digging, looking for very special sounds. And I feel like that curation is about going deep into culture, right? Not going into the surface mainstream culture. So in that sense, I feel it's a very countercultural art form. And for me, that's the key element.
Hmm, that's such a beautiful point of view. Like, thank you for sharing that because, sometimes we get a little bit obsessed with, um, okay, the key feature is this specific technique or this specific way of moving or this specific, but what about a more wider context and how does this style fits into the culture, how it's a rebellious act towards culture. I love this, it's actually so accurate. um, and thank you really much for that. um, and I would say that we can see this really like coming from the lineage of Carolina, Nericchio, and ADS. All of that is, I feel it's part of this that you are talking about. I mean, all the tattoos and.
Oof. For me, there's a very interesting, yes, for sure, Carolina Nericchio, um, and Masha Archer, they had another brain, It's like they danced, they did belly dance or whatever, but the mindset was so different. So the approach was different, and of course the result is was going to be different, but because there were many things going on that made the whole thing different.
Yes. And what you said about Raqs Sharqi belly dance, let's use this umbrella term. Uh,
Hmm.
Back in the days, I think I feel that now is different, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell you why. Because a dear friend of mine, which has a company, I remember not even 15 years ago, the rule of the company, you had to be, of course, a woman. You had to be around 30s, you had to be long hair. I remember when I was watching these rules, I was like, what? Why? Why? And now it's completely different. Now they have a man inside the company, they changed because I think the times are changing. But back in the days when fusion made its first appearance in the belly dance world, it was like, wait a second. You have Rachel Blythe's kind of body, and then you have Mardi Love kind of body, and then you have the tattoos and the dreadlocks and all of, it was so wild and
Mhm.
so ancient but modern, just crazy.
Yes, and they all had very weird or different hairs, hairstyles. That was like for me, Rachel Rice with her short hair was like, what?
Yes,
And
yes.
that I don't know. It it sounds maybe shallow, but for me in that moment, they were like, I don't know, role models. It's like, I don't know, you can do this kind of things, like belly dance and have short hair. It was like, no.
Yeah, or belly dance to dark electronic music and just, 16 counts of this, like
Completely. Yes, and just stay there, and that's it.
so powerful. Okay, we're
Very
talking from
powerful.
a, I see all of our hearts are like, "Oof, okay."
Totally. I'm getting so excited.
Yeah, me too. And I would love to say that we were talking about each sorry, my my throat. Each of these dancers specificity, if that's
Mhm.
even an English word, like so unique. And actually, when I see you, I was telling you before doing the recording, but when I scroll Instagram and I see Julieta, I'm like, I can recognize you out of a million. Like, you're so unique the way you move, the way you present yourself on stage, your presence. So my next question to you is, I would love to dig a little bit into your creative process, because I also know that you have a different page, all a different profile, all of your for about your creative process, and I love this. It's like your diary of creative process. So, how do you get inspiration? How do you create dance? How does it work for you?
So it's both. I mean, as I told you before, I'm a very lonely person, so it's like being alone for me is it's great because I I haven't been diagnosed with nothing with my attention, but I know that something is it's particular. Um, but I noticed that I when I receive so much stimuli, for me it's very hard to pay attention. So I really take time to like be alone because that's the way I can really focus and observe and notice and learn uh learn like understanding like the message. Like I need time for that. So I really cherish my alone time in that meaning, in that sense. I try to keep myself stimulated, but at the same time, I try to have this silence moment too, to try to digest all the information and all the things I'm having. I'm learning. Uh, I try to watch movies a lot. I try to keep myself learning different stories. I'm not a great reader, but I try to read at least uh, un cuento. I don't know how, but short stories at least once a week. And I try to learn like new skills all the time, really new skills, like things like I feel a total beginner. For example, drawing this year and theater, like improvisation with words and mouth. Uh, and it's super interesting because I think that gets me closer to understanding ish the world. Try to, yes, try to get closer to this understanding through different ways of expression. And well, I live in Buenos Aires, and Buenos Aires has a music and theater amazing scene, amazing, amazing scene. So every weekend I try to go to a play or to a music gig or something, and I go with my partner, and we always have this reflection time, right? It's like, okay, I love this and love this. So we try to analyze and express what we saw, and we learn a lot with that. So in that sense, I try to keep myself so stimulated. But in a like parallel, at the same time, I'm working on storytelling. Like I'm a very fluent dancer. I love dancing, but I'm trying to create characters, create concepts. So with all these movies and things I learn, I try to put them in action
Hmm.
and try to connect my dances in between, like all are part of the same universe. And they are all trying to tell something about the story, about a bigger story. So that's what I'm working right now. But really, it's very connected with the with being an audience. Like I'm try to actively being an audience and consume a lot of art.
That's the best feeling, right?
It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy because sometimes it's easier to watch your favorite dancers all the time, and sometimes I know that I have to watch new dances, different styles that maybe I don't understand, but they are telling me things and I have to make an effort to understand them. Listening to new musics that maybe I found boring and whatever. And so, no, this artist is trying to tell me something. W- So that effort is very nourishing for me.
Mm, beautiful. And when you wanted to create a new dance, let's say like
Mhm.
now you're working with the storytelling, what you said, but usually do you have a preferred starting point? Like, there are some dancers who love to start from, okay, I hear this music and then I'm gonna create the story out of the music. Or do you
Mhm.
start from an archetype? Like, okay, I saw this story in a movie that resonates with this, I don't know, costume, and then I'm gonna pick the music afterwards. But first, let me work on the movement and the costume. I don't know. Do you have a
Okay.
process, like a protocol, or you just go with what happens? Sometimes we say one or
Mm,
the other.
no, because I'm very messy person, I try to create a protocol.
Okay.
And and really, for example, now I'm working with certain archetypes. So what I try to do is collect information from those archetypes I'm working. They usually are some kind connected in between, but not necessarily. And so I collect music, I collect videos of dances that I like, I collect movies that they have stories or express facial gestures that I found interesting. I found costumes and things that I like. So I try to build a little universe. It's like a folder in my computer that it has the music, it has the 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 way it could look and the style of movements I would like to, I don't know, create.
That's so beautiful. You know what you made me remember? Stanley Kubrick's boxes. Do you know about this? He had
No.
when he wanted to work on a movie, actually, what he was doing, and please, if there is any Stanley Kubrick fans in the audience, don't get me wrong, I'm not that like particular on this, but what I remember is that in his studio, he had all of these boxes, and he had
Mhm.
like one box, it was all about doors, just, he was just photographing all of the doors. And then he would just, to do a movie, he would pick from each folder and then put everything together that was resonant with the movie. It's like what you're doing with your folder in the computer, like putting
Wow,
everything
wow,
inside
wow.
one box.
Yes,
So,
yes, yes. I try to like, it's not a literally box, but yes.
yeah,
Wow,
back
I
in the
didn't know.
days.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's quite interesting. I would love to try that.
Yeah, yeah. He was a
It's
very,
interesting.
very methodic kind of an
Mhm.
artist. And
Yeah.
probably, as you said, the messiest is the brain, the more you need a method. Otherwise, you're just lost, right?
Yes.
I know but something about that too. Uh, I have my last question for me to you, Julieta, which is a kind of an envisioning that you might have
Mhm.
about the present and the future of this art form. Because, as we said, we've been as an art form through so much, especially after the COVID and everything that is happening in the world. But I see there is some stamina there. I mean, there is something which is continuing to not only go forward, but actually to grow.
Mhm.
So my question is, what do you envision for the future? And what would be your, if you have any suggestion for the dancers and the teachers out there?
Okay. So let me put this in words. Um, what I see is that the pioneers of the style, they're starting to step back. Uh, and with them, it goes a little bit what I feel it's the essence of this style. So our generation of dancers, we have a certain responsibility, um, because on one hand, we need to keep the essence or this taste, what you said, this taste alive, but at the same time, we need to embrace the change. Um, yes, because I think the tribal fusion, as we knew it, is not going to be possible anymore because it was a certain moment in history and times have changed dramatically. So, so I don't, I hope the best for this style, but at the same time, I need to accept that it's never going to be the same, and it's fine. It's fine because something great is going to happen, because there's a lot of great artists. There's a lot of amazing people that loves this style, and I think that with love and with dedication, many amazing things happen. Tribal Fusion is the living proof of that. They were a bunch of amazing people trying to create and trying to discover themselves and trying things and experimenting and being very free in that process. So I think we can take maybe that formula
Hmm.
and try to make it happen here in the 25, in the 30s, whatever comes, and with love, with a lot of respect, with a lot of information, but critical information, uh, like going very deep into our craft. Um, and I was thinking something else and trying to be as honest as possible. Try not to keep ourselves from doing things because they're not going to make numbers on social media or whatever. I think lately, and I don't blame anyone. It's like the era we are living, but the social media is affecting the way we do art, the way we create. It's an amazing platform, but sometimes we don't do things because they are not going to do numbers, and I found that a little bit sad. So 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 yeah, maybe like remember this rebellious quality of the tribal fusion of fusion belly dance will keep us on the path, accepting the idea that it's not never going to be the same, but it can be part of a legacy.
Yes, I have goosebumps like everywhere. Like, I love what you just said. I think it's such a important is not the right word, essential concept to
Mm.
that you underline. So thank you so much for that. And as you said, we cannot keep it alive into a museum. Of course, what happened in San Francisco Bay Area and
Mm.
what initiated the process. uh, I mean, we cannot get back into the past,
Mm.
but as you said, to keep this essence, this taste alive, this rebellious taste alive with honesty of, like, imagine now if Rachel Bryce would have been in this era and she
Yes.
wanted to do 16 counts of sidewinder chest for Instagram, where we have just 7 seconds attention span, you know, it wouldn't even,
No, no, it wouldn't have worked.
right? So, yeah, it's a very thin line to be an artist nowadays because
Mm.
what we feed in the feed might feed on us somehow.
Yeah,
But
but but but but okay. I mean, we know the rules. We can break them. We can look for the loopholes, you know?
exactly, that's what we like.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Julieta. It was wonderful to get to know you better and to dig a little bit into your brain, your creative
Oh,
brain.
thank you so much for this opportunity. For me, it was interesting because it was like a moment on reflecting and thinking, and I like taking a moment of appreciation of my own journey. So thank you so much for taking me on a journey.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks to you, dear. Thank you,
And
really.
you're an amazing artist. I'm such a fan of you.
Oh, thank you. I'm gonna keep this.
Thank you
Thank
so much.
you. Thank you so much, beautiful dancer, for watching this video and share this conversation with us. If you love this video and would love to see more, I invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, because every week I share more videos, tutorials and interviews to support and guide you through your creative and soulful journey in fusion belly dance. And I invite you to grab my free classes. I have two amazing free classes. One is the Perfect Belly Roll free class, and one is the Fusion Mudra Masterclass. You will find the link in the description of this episode. I'll see you next week and keep dancing.